system, that system is very helpful for our environment, and because the many countries that the uh, global warming and kind of thing happening, and when we are using this kind of system, very helpful for the blessing for the humankind. So that's why I love this pattern and this thing, and we can discuss about further. And we thank you so much you organizing this thing. I really appreciate. I will be with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sarah, is it time for me to share the video? Sorry, I thought I hit escape on my computer and I hit the sleep button, so I was gone for just a minute. But
No worries. I think we can share the video in just a moment. Just wanted to open with the brief land acknowledgement about Washington, D.C. So I'll start there, if that's okay with you, Maddie. Awesome. Thank you. We acknowledge that this land is the traditional territory of the Nacotchtank and Piscataway peoples. Their presence is imbued in the lands and waters surrounding us. May we nurture our relationship with our Indigenous neighbors and the shared responsibilities to their homelands where we all reside today. So as Maddie alluded just a minute ago, we have a message, a video from one of our Sangha members, Kristen Barker, who is the co-founder and director of One Earth Sangha. And she shared some of her thoughts and reflections as to how investing in solar energy is in alignment with Buddhist tradition and principles. So I think with that, Maddie, we're in a great spot to share the video.
Hey, everybody. My name is Kristen Barker, and I'm the co-founder and director of One Earth Sangha. I'm joining you from Albuquerque, New Mexico, where I had to record this little conversation because I'm about to go on a week-long retreat at one of my most beloved Dharma centers at Vallecitos in northern New Mexico. So I wanted to just share with you my excitement for this program. I feel like this is one of those places where we get to really put our practice into action, even though it's marginal, but it matters. Our tradition teaches us through, the idea of karma, which isn't just like you're going to suffer when you do bad things, but like we're always setting the conditions for ourselves in the future and all beings in the future. And everything from that perspective matters. So this matters. So if you own your home, what a privilege to own our own homes, that is. And this is a way for us to take responsibility in a dramatically changing world for the impact that our little house, our energy usage contributes to or does not contribute to the harm of carbon emissions. So if you own a home, taking that level of responsibility, taking the financial investment, going through the logistics, all blessing, blessing, blessing for all beings. Similarly, if you rent, having this as an occasion to share with others the impact, especially your landlord and your fellow renters, the impact of solar panels and working together to advocate for that step with the company that owns the individual or company that owns the land. And then also want to say that there are other impacts where we are creating systemic change by not just reducing emissions, but marginally increasing the pressure on utilities to convert their sourcing to solar. It's a complicated dynamic, but it matters. The more of us go solar, the more pressure that they have to increase their solar investment. Okay, so that matters. And then to the extent that we are capturing more electrons from the sun freely than we are actually using, we can all be putting those electrons nobly sourced back into the grid for others to make use of. So it's some sort of idea of helping other people's karma overall. Now, yes, there is environmental impact associated with the production of the solar panels themselves, and that matters. And I think the argument is pretty clear that these kinds of investments are worth it. We do need to improve the technologies and the way the materials are gathered to build solar panels, but the impact of emissions is so dramatic right now that this to me is definitely worth that calculation. There are no paths of complete innocence available to us. So we just choose the best one. And that's a very Buddhist idea, right? That we're always paying attention and choosing the least harmful, most noble option. So then the last impact that I want to speak to is social. It is to brag about your solar panels, right? To talk with your neighbors, to talk with your friends casually. So guess what I'm doing this month, right? To weave this into conversations, signals to others that this is good, that this is what it means to be a responsible homeowner amidst such times. That no, it's not everything. It's not the advocacy and the systems change that we need, although, as I was saying before, it has an impact on those. But that this is an important contribution to the social fabric of saying climate change is real, it's human caused, and we can do something about it through these kinds of investments. So that's what I wanted to share. And I am going to also say that I'm right here with you. That is to say, I'm going to be converting as part of this program, this group buying project, I'm going to be adding solar panels to my own. So I'm going to be sharing here my screen for you all to see as I do the final clicks on this. Okay, I haven't done this yet, so who knows if this is going to go well. But there you are. There's my personal recommendation from Solar Switch, and here's exactly how the math worked out. I said I didn't know what my monthly bill was currently because I didn't look it up, because I figured that wasn't that important. I don't need to know how much I'm going to save, because to me, it's not about the money, right? So I'm going to click accept, right here in front of all of us. Yay, I'm accepting. Oh, it says that I have to pay my deposit. Okay, I won't walk you through all of that, but I will finish this form and pay the deposit, and I'll be signed up with all of you who decide to do this. Okay, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you so much for joining this and being part of the group that's joining this. You know, things are better together. It's better in Sangha. And also big thanks to Joelle and the folks at IPL who are organizing these things for all kinds of faith groups and other kinds of groups to come together and do these group buyings. And a special thank you to Sierra for organizing this particular gathering. Mwah! Blessings on all of you. I hope you have a good meeting, learn a lot, get all of your questions answered, and join me in putting panels on your roof. Have a great day. Bye.
Kristen's the best, isn't she? Well, that was a really fun video and a beautiful introduction as to what we're aiming for today. Unfortunately, I had some Wi-Fi issues at the beginning of the video, but I have seen it. So thank you to Kristen for taking the time to record that and share some of her wisdom and insights with us today. She's missed during this workshop, but very thankful for her engagement and participation. Okay, So before going into the details of going solar through the purchasing groups, we thought it might be helpful to envision the outcome and talk to someone who has done this in their own community. So tonight, we're lucky to be joined by Bhante Uparatana from the Maryland Buddhist Vihara in Wheaton. Bhante Uparatana is a revered monk and spiritual leader at the Maryland Buddhist Vihara in Wheaton. He is known for his insightful teachings, compassionate guidance, and dedication to spreading the principles of Buddhism in the community. So thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you, Sarah. And I've been in a metropolitan area over 30 years. And I moved to the Washington, D.C. to Maryland 1996. And since that, I was paying enormous money for my energy bill. And compared to that day and today is so happy. And we have 24 hours and running air condition or heating always happening and to both flow. And I used to pay a lot of money, but now 2022 I installed introduced this one. I installed the solar, and which is that called Sonova, and that thing. And after that, and they charge him for the system $135 per monthly, but my benefits is more than that. Sometime I get the Pepco paying me the bill, check back to return to me because they are using extra energy, and very comfortable, very reasonable. Because I depend upon the devotees' donation, then it's a very respectful thing, energy bill to down that much under the one control. That's so great. And this temple, a lot of people, Sunday school and Saturday, Sunday, all the programs, and other weekdays also, like Wednesday, Vipassana meditation, and Matt Reagan and we all together that we are discussing about Dhamma. And that is so very comfortably, especially this weather of how severe heat going on. But this air conditioning is so great blessing for us to, and less, I mean, while we have the more sunlight, and I get the more big check from the Costco, I mean the Pepco. So that's what the experience I'm talking. And not only for that, as I mentioned earlier, this is a natural energy. And for the Buddha always emphasized nature of existing, and respect the nature, and sun and moon and earth and water and space, trees and things, very blessingful the all being to survive. And rather than destroying and making global warming and kind of thing happening, if not mindfully operate the system. And so this is the natural energy, no harm in anyone. And I enjoy it, and our community enjoy it. I encourage many people to do that. They asking me and how it is working out, and because of my roof, anybody can see both sides, and the temple roof. And this is so nice, so great. I enjoy it, and trying to mindfully pass in this message to my community, which is who they are, spiritual practitioner come over here. And thank you so much inviting me. If you have further question, I'm very happy to join with you. Thank you so much giving the opportunity to talk to you.
Thank you. Thank you for touching on this aspect of, nonviolence, participating in this kind of, in investing in solar panels really does touch on, nonviolence and this essence of inner being. how we are all connected. And so I know you did touch on this, but I was curious, uh, and was there anything in particular that inspired the Maryland Buddhist Vihara and in your community to transition to solar energy? Or did you feel, called to do this?
Um, what does that mean? Um, um, I have two buildings and planning to in the future also and solar. Then I heard and recently, even though uh, Home Depot also has kind of system, solar system, and whatever the system is much helpful, and I encourage someone who having the own their house that easy to go. And even though this program Sunny Sanova, and there's a system, if I introduce the customers, they going to give me a gift also. That's so great. And so I don't know, there's a Maryland encourage, even the county encourage to us to use it. And this is if I 2022, if I were that day, it was this much government helping us. I'm so glad. But however, we already installed it, and right now it's a much convenient, much easy, and less installment payment. And because of the government take care most of things for the especially Montgomery County and Maryland.
That's incredible that the government is investing, in solar energy. So big reason why, your community ended up, going down this path. Um, I guess in terms of kind of for some of the people in this room, I'm curious, why do you feel as though it's important for others to kind of take on this path to shift towards solar energy and solar panels?
Yeah, they're a little scary, and because they don't have any enlightenment about how to do that thing, then they panic. They're thinking about it, whether it's convenient or not, and if they have to basically pay a lot. No, actually not. They're scary. But before it happen, I really encourage, and this one is better because I had the benefit, but now it's a more benefit because the government engage this system.
Yes, it can be scary, and I think even what Kristen said is that there is an investment money wise, but it's great to hear that you've had such a wonderful experience with it, and you're saving money through it, which is I think another positive. Um, so I guess just to close, what advice would you give others when considering this transition to solar energy?
Talking about money wise, it is very difficult to maintain the budget in the temple because we depend upon the especially temple everyone's donation, and that I had the hard time previously. Now I energy bill is lower, and but still gas bill is a little high, but electricity bill and much convenient, and saving some my dollars to pay the bills. And even though I'm receiving from the PEPCO, some returning some money to us, and that make sense. And $135 is nothing compared to, and if it is no solar, I have to pay $400 or something for this house payment for the energy bill, especially for the electricity bill. So that is a major saving for me, and that's I enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of incentives to be able to switch to kind of this energy, and definitely the savings and being, responsible for the donations that you receive. Um, Well, thank you for sharing. Is there anything else that you'd love to, tell this community about your experience with, going on this path of solar energy?
Yeah, if I have any sort of leaflet, I can someone to give that thing, and a consequence whom to talk, where to contact, and how to start. That information, the phone numbers and connecting information, if I have handy, very happy to share. If Sarah and your program, if anyone can provide that thing for the churches and temples, that may be more helpful for the people to give the information. If they our hand give to someone, they may be consider about, they be thinking about, because Bhante given this one, Bhante had the experience, that's why they respect that way.
That would be lovely, Bhante. Thank you. Any information you have would be lovely to share, and so that more people, know more. And I think that might be a beautiful transition to this next section in our presentation, which is Roger is going to walk us through a bit about how Sun's residential co-ops work, and how the folks on this call might be able to sign up for one today. But I want to say thank you so much, Bhante Uparatana, for joining us today and for sharing some of your wisdom and your experience with us. So thank you.
My pleasure. Take care.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. I'm just going to share my screen now, and feel free to interrupt me while I'm talking. I'm Roger Horowitz. I'm happy to be here with you all tonight. I work at Solar United Neighbors. We are a national 501c3 nonprofit. I guess there are probably slides that say this as well, rather than me just saying it. But we're based in DC, in DuPont Circle, but we have staff all over the country. I've been at Sun for about 5 years now, and we've been growing a lot as interest in solar has grown. When I started, we had about 30 folks, and now we're up to 80. And I lived in DC for 13 years. Now I'm actually in Philadelphia. Moved here a couple years ago to me and your family. But you can see that in Maryland, we've worked in Maryland for about 8 years already. And we've helped over 1,100 families go solar. You can see 9.3 megawatts of solar. A megawatt is 1,000 kilowatts. So a standard home usually an average size solar system, let's say, would be a 7 kilowatt system. And then you can see 95,000 plus tons of CO2 saved just from these systems over their lifetime. Sun got started in 2007. Anya, who's our executive director, is the founder, and her son and his friend wanted to go solar. They had just seen the Al Gore movie, An Inconvenient Truth, and now we have members in all 50 states. We've run over 400 solar co-ops and have helped close to 10,000 people go solar with our programs. I'm sure we'll hit 10,000 this year. At Solar United Neighbors, we do a lot of things. And tonight, I'm mostly going to be talking, because Solar Switch, the program I'm talking about, is for homeowners. That being said, I do think in this conversation, we often mostly talk about homeowners. And really, we are really lucky because both Maryland and Washington, D.C. have community solar programs. I know Maddie's going to drop these links later and talk about this as well. But that even if you're a renter in DC and Maryland, you can go solar as well with a community solar program. Also, at Solar United Neighbors, we're a nonprofit. Everything we do is free. We provide support to anyone in a condo if they're building or condo, or your small business wants to go solar as well. So we're happy to talk about all of that. And I'll give you my info also, and I'm happy to help out individually. We help folks go solar, join together, and then fight for their energy rights. Because we really want to make sure that not only is solar great, for environmental reasons, but also that people are saving money. And that's really important for us as well. And that everyone's saving money. It's not just folks who can afford it, but low and moderate income folks as well. So the program today that we're going to cover is called Solar Switch. And that is the co-op type group purchase program that we're running right now in the DC area. It's a group buying program, so people save time and money money because our Solar Switch program, which technically signups actually close tomorrow, which is the reason why we wanted to squeeze this in tonight. But these programs, we are planning on running them every 6 months. So we do, now, especially with climate change being what it is, now is always better. But we are planning on running these programs twice a year. So we save folks money through those programs. On average, people save about 15% on average, so somewhere between 10 and 20% usually by going solar as part of the group. The group buying program, the Solar Switch program, already has had 4,000 folks join it in the DC area this year. So that's really exciting. And then there are 3 installers for the group. And those are installers who've had background checks run and they've looked at their bank accounts and made sure that they have good warranties and proper licenses and that they have really good references and reviews. And Solar United Neighbors, we're a nonprofit and we partner with a group called iChooser and with a bunch of local governments and with nonprofits such as DMV, IPL to run these programs. The good thing about this group, it's voluntary, of course. You're all here. Thank you for being here. But if you sign up, what they do to make sure that people are actually serious, because one of the things that you're doing with the installer is saving them time because they don't need to call a bunch of people who may not be interested. So that's why they do ask for that, I think, $150 deposit. Not to join the program. Joining the program is free, but if you say that you're signing a contract, they ask for that deposit to make sure that people are actually interested in moving forward. But there is no obligation to join the group. That's totally free, and also the deposit is refundable. So if you change your mind before you actually sign a contract with an installer, you can always get that back. But it's a great value on installation. You connect with others. We host a lot of in-person events all over the DC area as well. So for these groups, we'll usually have one event every 6 months in Frederick County, in Montgomery County, in Prince George's County, and in DC, in Arlington and Fairfax as well. Usually we have one event per jurisdiction, and the installers come, and any of the 4,000 plus people who've joined the group are invited to come as well to talk, to learn, to have a drink or eat something, and then to just connect with others as well. And it really helps with the regional impacts. If you think, hey, maybe it's not doing that much for towards climate change if it's just me, when you're going and joining a group with hundreds of and thousands of other people, it really does increase your impact. And at Sun, we also focus a lot on advocacy, making sure that folks are saving money and also making sure that there are good policies for solar. So I talked through most of this. One of the good things, I don't know if anyone has ever filled out those forms, I unfortunately have online, where you put your name and your phone number and say, call me. And then you have 15 contractors call you and your phone is just ringing off the hook. One of the good things about this process is there's an online platform, so no one's going to be calling you to hassle you. You receive the price quote for your roof and it's directly on the website. So you don't need to deal with all those kind of calls. You register, get a personal recommendation based on the info that you put in. A lot of the time people may not actually know the size of their roof, but that's totally fine. Don't worry, there will be an actual solar installer who will look at it and then they'll look at your roof and let you know if what you said actually makes sense. Same thing for your electric bill. A lot of folks don't have their electric bill on hand or don't know how much energy they use in a year, but that's totally fine. Installers are used to that. But here's the process, which you saw before as well. They ask you about your roof, how tall is your house. You put in your contact info, and then it'll tell you what they recommend in terms of size and equipment, and all the equipment for the program is the same. That's one of the ways that they can offer prices that are 15-ish% below market rate, is by buying lots of equipment at the same time. And then they ask folks if you're going to accept your recommendation to put down $150 deposit. This isn't when you join the program, but this is if you're accepting the recommendation for pricing and for going forward with the process before you'd sign a contract. In terms of the way solar works, this is going to be very brief, and feel free to interrupt me. But you hear solar referred to as PV. So solar photovoltaic panels convert solar energy into electricity. You can see here all the different parts of a panel there. A panel is also known as a module. And when you have a lot of them together, that's a solar array, like you would see on the ground or on your roof. And then there's racking that goes on your roof. All the installers for this program and most reputable solar installers usually offer a 25-year warranty on their workmanship. And that's also a roof penetration warranty. I've actually never heard of a reputable installer having a leak caused by solar installation, but you definitely hear about some fly-by-night companies that do have those issues. So it's really a mark of a good installer that they have a very long warranty. So if there were to be a problem with your roof, which is not common at all, that they would cover it. And what's a good roof for solar? In the Mid-Atlantic, we're looking for not a north-facing roof. A flat roof is great because you can put the panels in any direction. South, east, and west are good. North is, I mean, it works. It's just not as effective. And then you're looking for enough space to mount panels and a newer roof, because these panels are going to come with a 25-year warranty. So it is important, if you have a roof that's 20 years old, maybe you sign up for community solar now, and then wait until you're replacing your roof, because your average asphalt shingle roof has about a 20 to 30-year lifespan. Or you could have the solar installer. They're also all roofers, so they could get on your roof and take a look at it and tell you if they think it's in good shape or if they think it'll need to be replaced in a couple of years. And also, we're looking for not a lot of shading, not a lot of trees nearby. And then in terms of racking, not really in the DC area, but there are lots of places where folks opt for ground mounts instead because they have a lot of space on their property. And then kilowatts is what a system is measured in. Kilowatt hours is what's on your electric bill. And an average system size is usually 6 to 7 kilowatts. And you can see this is just for scale to show you the solar panel is about the same size as an adult human in terms of height. And you can see this is a 3.6 kilowatt array using 300 watt panels. No one gets 300 watt panels anymore. When I got solar in 2019, panels were like that, but they do keep getting much more efficient every year. So really pretty much everyone gets a 400 watt panel nowadays. But you don't need to worry about that because the installer will talk to you about it instead. So solar panels absorb energy from the sun. Your inverter converts it from DC energy to AC energy, which is what your appliances run on. And then you use it at home. And then there's a meter, and any extra power that you produce goes back to the grid and helps power businesses and other homes and community centers and nonprofits in your area. And then the utility grid acts like a big battery. So at night, when your solar system isn't producing, what net metering means is net metering means that you get a 1-to-1 credit on your electric bill. And this is true for solar, even if you don't have a net metering program, but everyone in the DMV area does. But it's just the system, basically the grid acts like a big battery. You're producing power during the day, and then you're taking power at night from the grid. And then you get a 1-to-1 credit on your bill. So every time you send electricity to the grid, you get credit for that for usage at night. And that's basically how net metering works. And then you'll have a monitor. There's usually an app on your phone so you can track how much your system is producing. And the other thing the installer will do is they'll look at your electric bills for the year and they'll tell you how much of your electric bill you're going to be offsetting. And then here's an example. If you consume 300 kilowatt hours and you produced 250 kilowatt hours of solar that went back to the grid, then 300 minus 250 is you're only going to be paying for 50 kilowatt hours. And then you can see that like Dominion in Northern Virginia has a $6.58 plus tax fixed connection charge, and different companies have different charges based on that. And I know I'm running out of time, so I'll move a little quickly, but solar is a great investment. Compared to the price in the 1970s, it has gotten much, much cheaper over time, as happens with a lot of technologies. There's a 30% federal tax credit, which goes a long way as well. Also, Maryland has a $1,000 tax credit as well. And DC is the best place to go solar in the DC area because DC has solar renewable energy credits, which have a really, really high value. So in DC, a lot of installers will install your system for either free or close to free in exchange for solar renewable energy credits. I'm happy to talk more offline about that as well. But it's a really good way to make sure that your payback is going to be really, really quick in DC. And Maryland and Virginia now have solar renewable energy credits as well. They're not worth quite as much money. But Solar Switch and solar co-ops and group buying programs help reduce the cost for an installer because you wouldn't think it, but for most solar companies, the biggest cost for them is acquiring customers. You can see the materials are in yellow, labor costs for people who are actually doing the installation are in green, and the biggest cost for them is acquiring customers. So it really helps those installers to be able to give you a discount because they're getting 4,000 customers at once. And the federal tax credit is currently 30% through 2032, and then it'll step down. But we will be talking to all of you and anyone else that works with Solar United Neighbors to hopefully get that extended forever. But you know, that's not usually the government works. It's usually like a decade at a time that these things happen. And here's some example pricing. This may not be your exact price, but just because everyone always wants to know how much solar is going to cost. And it really depends, depending on your electricity usage and depending on your home size and depending on your budget. You can always tell a company that, hey, my budget is 15,000 and 30% roughly of that is 5,000 for the tax credit. And that's totally okay to be upfront with a solar company as well. But you can just understand that, okay, let's say an average system is 6 to 7 kilowatts. So about halfway between the four and 8 here, just so you get the idea. So solar renewable energy credits in Maryland, for example, if you sold the value of those upfront for a 4 kilowatt system, you'd get roughly $800 and $1,000 Maryland clean energy grant, and then the 30% federal tax credit. And then you can see how much money you'd be saving every year below as well. I know that Maddie will be sharing more info here, but you can join Solar Switch. The sign-up deadline for this program in the DMV is tomorrow. But also, if you have any questions, I'm happy to talk more. And even though this is mostly geared towards homeowners, if you're a renter, we can provide resources, as can DMV IPL, for getting you signed up for community solar. And if you're in a condo complex or your nonprofit wants to go solar, you know, anything like that, you know, we can provide advice. And the best advice for any congregation, of course, is talking to the folks at IPL. And then for the Solar Switch, you can see the timeline, and folks will be getting recommendations delivered to them tomorrow if they haven't already. And that's everything for me. Thanks so much. And I will stick around and let me know whenever you have questions, either later or sooner.
Thank you, Roger. I learned so much, and I'm now realizing the sun has gone down, so apologies that I'm sitting in a dark room, but I'm cognizant of time. Maddie, do you want to go ahead and share how we can go ahead and sign up?
Yes, I do. I think we could take just a minute or so if folks have like immediate burning questions they want to ask Roger. Really quick, if folks have questions, and then we can go into you know, how to sign up, and I'll be putting some links in the chat. Yeah, Jeffrey.
Yes, I have been getting community solar power from Community Sun here in the Baltimore area for quite a number of years now, at least 3 years, I think. And but I recently moved into a new home. I lived in a historic neighborhood before, so solar panels were not an option. But the contract with Community Solar has followed us, so we're still getting a very substantial portion of our electricity from a solar farm nearby. How much would this transition benefit me if I bought my own solar panels, as opposed to staying with Community Solar?
I could run the numbers for you, or an installer could. I mean, generally, if you own a system, you're going to save more in the long term. In terms of the environmental benefit, it's the same. I mean, community solar is great, and that's one reason why. Like, I now live in Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania does not allow community solar, and it just
Oh,
it seems really like a no-brainer. And I'm glad you had a good experience with it. So for you, the benefit would really just be in terms of savings, and also it would just depend on how much power you wanted to get from community solar. So my boss lives in a row house in Capitol Hill in DC, and has a solar array that they install themselves, and it is a very small solar array. So for them, that produces about half of their power, and then they get the other half from community solar. So that's definitely an option for you, if you'd like. And also, if you send me an electric bill, I can run those numbers and tell you, how much over a 25-year period. You saw that chart that we have, where we'll look at, how much you're paying for community solar, how much you're paying for your non-community solar. And here at Solar United Neighbors, we have a lot of people who do a lot of number crunching. We spend a lot of time on that kind of stuff.
Yes, we love Solar United Neighbors because they just want to help people figure out solar instead of trying to push any one installer or company, which is awesome. Any other questions?
I have another one. So one of the things that concerns me, of course, is the overall instability of the larger power grid, particularly as there's more demand put on it, and the loss of power altogether from the grid. So my understanding is that there's some possibility, if you're kind of producing your own energy, that one could store it using the battery technology, right? And then use an inverter just as you use an inverter directly from the panels, you could use an inverter from the batteries to provide you with at least basic power. Could you speak to that? I mean, that was implied in one of your slides that this could be part of the. But that seems like a real advantage to me over the community solar model.
Yeah, definitely. It really, for us, we usually see that it depends on how often you lose power. Because I mean, what I like to say about batteries is they're amazing. It's like having a generator, a clean energy generator. And the thing is, unlike a generator where folks are using gas or using either gasoline from a gas station for a portable one, or propane, or or natural gas from a natural gas line, a battery generator is taking the solar from your solar panels, and then that solar is running your system during the day, and then the battery is running it at night. And if the grid goes down, the battery will get recharged every day from your solar. So it's amazing technology. It's really cool. The one problem with the batteries right now is that they're still relatively expensive compared to solar. Like, it's very common that folks will pay $15,000 and get a solar system that is, sized towards a, smaller sized house for 15,000, and then there's a 30% tax credit. So that gets you to 10,000 roughly. The going price for a battery is about the same. So about $15,000 in general. Obviously, each installer has their own pricing, but and there is a 30% tax credit, which is great. But the battery in general is not going to be saving you money, unlike solar, which will be lowering your bill every month. So batteries are great. I personally am waiting for, which they tell me it's coming any day, for the technology where I have an electric car. So that my electric car has a giant battery. So the technology is coming in the near future that that your electric car charger will also be able to take energy from your car to power your home. Ford in their Ford F-150 Lightning commercials talks about that. It's not quite a reality in most utilities yet, but I'm looking forward to that. But batteries are really great. The other thing is a lot of battery economics are, you're paying out of pocket right now, but there are a lot of programs called virtual power plants. I'm not sure if anyone's heard that term before, but a lot of utilities are realizing, for example, I know there's a new virtual power plant that was just started in North Carolina, and the idea is that um, Duke Energy in North Carolina, for them to build a new power plant is going to be $3 billion. But what they can do is they can offer you $5,000 to put a battery in your home. And if they say, hey, we'll get 10,000 people and pay them each $5,000 to put a battery in their home, which ends up cutting your battery costs about half out of pocket after the tax credit. You can take those 10,000 batteries and use those as a power plant, basically. And then those would be connected to the grid. And there's a storm system. So if they're expected to be thunderstorms that day, the virtual power plant will turn off so that you'll be able to use your power to back up. But on a day that's just a really hot day where folks are using a lot of air conditioning, they would be able to use that. So virtual power plants are a really cool system. They are
Wow,
not
that's
common by
really
any.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if, yeah, and I know I've gone past my time, but they're starting to happen in Texas. They're starting to happen in California and in Puerto Rico. And that's the wave of the future with utilities. So I think that, and I mean, batteries, especially if you need them now for resiliency, are a really cool product. They're just kind of pricey. But I do expect that in the next 5 years, it'll be common that a lot of utilities will offer pretty big battery rebates if you agree to let your battery be controlled as part of a virtual power plant. And I can send you more resources afterwards. I know we're running out of time.
I had not heard of the virtual power plant. That's very cool, Roger. Thanks for sharing. Okay, and if you have more questions, Roger will go ahead and put his info in the chat as well so that people can reach out, and then we'll send a follow-up email to everyone as well. And you are always welcome to email us with questions as well. So what we want to do now is take a moment. I know we're just about at our time, but we want to take a moment to make sure that people are able to sign up actually for the solar co-op tonight. And as we said at the beginning, we scheduled this workshop very intentionally because the current co-op that's open right now is closing tomorrow. And so if you're interested in seeing if it might be a possibility for your home, you want to go ahead and sign up right now. And just to clarify, because I know we have folks from all over the region here, Roger was talking about the Solar Switch program that Solar United Neighbors is doing, and that is open to folks that live in Northern Virginia, DC, and Montgomery, Prince George's, and Frederick counties. And then we work with a separate partner who's not on this call today, but they offer co-ops all year round to folks that live in the Baltimore area, as well as Anne Arundel, Howard, and Harford County. So sort of the Baltimore and the surrounding counties. And then as Jeff talked about as well, you can also sign up for community solar if you either can't put panels on your roof or are looking for something that just costs a lot less than owning your own solar panels. And that's a great option for renters as well, and people who just literally can't put panels on their roof. So we want to invite everyone to go to one of these links that I've put in the chat, and let me see if I can get them to actually link for folks. No, but so what I'd like folks to do is copy the link in the chat based on where you live or what you're interested, and go ahead and go to that link and sign up right now. What we'll do is, oh, here we go. Oh, never mind. Sorry. We'll go ahead and play just a couple minutes of music while folks are doing that. And I know we're at time, so if folks need to hop off, that's totally fine. And then we'll come back together for just a brief closing after about 2 minutes. But I'll invite folks to go to the links in the chat, and that you might have to copy them and then paste them into your browser.
Thank you, Maddie, and Roger for answering questions and just being a great resource for um, Jeff and Magda. And I know someone else had to drop recently as well. I want to be cognizant of time, but I wanted to say thank you to all of you all for being on this call. Every action matters. So sincerely appreciate everybody just coming together and learning more about this, important effort. I want to say thank you to Kristen from One Earth Sangha, Bante Ubaratana from the Maryland Buddhist Vihara for sharing your solar story with us. So thank you, thank you. Also, big thank you to Joelle, Maddie from Interfaith Power and Light. Thank you for everything that you do. And to Roger of Solar United Neighbors for teaching us a bit about how we can join the solar co-ops today. Also, thank you to our co-sponsors, One Earth Sangha, Downtown Dharma, Chesapeake Earth Holders. We have this video recorded, so hopefully we can share this out and put it on YouTube in case anybody else might be interested. I guess to conclude, I'd love to leave you all with a quote that I recently read. I've been reading Thich Nhat Hanh's book, Zen and the Art of Saving the Planet. And so from the words of Sister True Dedication, she said that Thai encourages us to boldly reimagine an entirely new way of living and doing things, and to never be afraid to dream. He reminds us, no matter what, to always work together, never alone. So thank you sincerely for being here tonight as a community. And we'll close the Zoom, but if you have any more questions, I know Roger is put his information in the chat, and I'm sure IPL has a bunch of other resources as well. But thank you all. I think we made good time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Take good care.